Alright, we're going to continue. We have the expression -2 times 2 cosine x minus 1 times cosine x plus 1. We want to find out where that's 0. And that will be whenever cosine is 1/2 or cosine is -1. Cosine is 1/2 at pi over 3 and also at 5 pi over 3. And cosine is -1 at pi. So we want to find out where this is going to be 0, and we will make a sign chart broken down with our critical numbers. We're going to select some test values in there, and for this I use pi over 6, pi over 2, 3 pi over 2, and 11 pi over 6. And since we're looking for concavity, we want to find out where the second derivative is positive. So I have to remember to plug these values back into the second derivative. Alright, for the first value of pi over 6, we have, and by the way, we're going to plug into the factored form of the second derivative, which would be easiest. So we have a -2, that's always negative. Then we have cosine, 2 times cosine of pi over 6, that's 2 times root 3 over 2, which is root 3 minus 1. And since root 3 is greater than 1, that's going to give us a positive value. Next, cosine of x is positive, that's root 3 over 2 plus 1, which will also be positive. And so negative times positive is negative. Alright, for the second value, pi over 2, again the -2 is always negative. The -2 is always negative. Cosine of pi over 2 is 0, so 2 times 0 is 0, minus 1 is a negative. And then cosine of pi over 2 is 0 plus 1 is positive. So we have negative times negative, which is positive, times positive is positive. We're going to the third point. The -2 is always negative. 3 pi over 2. So cosine of 3 pi over 2 is 0. Times 2 is 0. Minus 1 gives you a negative there. Then cosine of 3 pi over 2 is 0 plus 1 is positive. So that interval is also positive. And finally, 11 pi over 6. Cosine of 11 pi over 6 is root 3 over 2 times 2 is root 3 minus 1. It's going to give you the same thing as in the first interval. Same exact values of cosine. And so it'll be negative on that interval. And therefore, so the second derivative will be positive when x is between pi over 3 and 5 pi over 3. And that's the interval on which f of x is concave up. Alright, so this is problem number 7. A lot of trigonometry in there, but great to review all of these, your trig values and your trig identities in the context of calculus. So that's a very helpful problem, I think.